which will certainly, I'm confident, much more quickly bring effective treatments and perhaps even the holy grail of a cure for Alzheimer's disease.
I understand that a lot of people with Alzheimer's may want to blend in and sort of go away and not be seen. You don't mind stepping in front of cameras, sharing your story, even as a person suffering from Alzheimer's. Why do this?
I have a very straightforward answer for that. I have a personal mantra that I live by and have for many, many years. And that it's always better to be part of the solution than to just be part of the problem. So I step out and put myself out there and speak and talk to people about Alzheimer's, make sure that people understand it. And I try to be the face of Alzheimer's for everybody that I can get in front of. And I hope that it helps them to better understand that the classic picture of the Alzheimer's patient, a very elderly person, infirm, unable to take care of themselves in a wheelchair, is not necessarily the picture for everybody with Alzheimer's disease. And I'm very, very fortunate to be connected with the Alzheimer's Association. I've been an advocate for them for the last year, and now I've been given a position called the ambassador's position, where I work directly with our representatives in Congress and talk to them on a regular basis concerning progress to be made and progress that has been made with research for Alzheimer's, funding for Alzheimer's, and the importance of those activities.
Take me through your day-to-day life. What's the most frustrating part? I mean, for those of us without Alzheimer's, try to explain it to us.
Well, I'll explain to you how Alzheimer's disease has affected me. Because many people that I speak to, and they hear me talk, say, you know, what's going on there? Seems pretty normal. My Alzheimer's disease has affected my short-term memory. I have no short-term memory. I don't remember things that happened 2 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago. It's like somebody every minute or so just wipes the slate clean and the information's gone and I can't retrieve it.
But you can still remember things from your childhood in Maine.
I can very vividly, growing up as a child in Maine, my time in the Coast Guard, and many other memories. But my short-term memory has been short-circuited by this disease and just simply doesn't work anymore.
Congressman Deutsch?
Jason, Russ is my ambassador from the Alzheimer's Association, and the opportunity that we have to talk about these issues and for Russ to impress upon me how important this work is, how important the research is, it compels me to act. And I wonder if Russ can perhaps talk a bit about the interaction that he's had with policymakers who have seen, like I have, the benefits of this story that Russ has to tell that's so vitally important.
Your answer to that, Russ?
Well, I think you make a very good point that it is very, very important. I believe that our government and our elected representatives are the key to finding initially an effective treatment for Alzheimer's disease. And so I think it's critically important that they're knowledgeable, educated, and have contacts with people that have Alzheimer's disease as well as the Alzheimer's Association so that they clearly understand, you know, how important this is. Many of our congressional representatives have family members or know people that are affected by Alzheimer's disease. It's pretty hard not to these days. So we've been very successful, but there's plenty of room left for more success in future acts and funding for Alzheimer's research. And I'm very confident that we're going to continue to work very hard and successfully with people like Congressman Deutsch to ensure that that funding becomes available and we continue to make progress. And pretty soon we'll have an effective cure and we'll be able to talk about this in a very different light.
Okay. Now we want to bring in Dr. Margaret Parachak-Vance, researcher and director of the Hussman Institute of Human Genomics at the University of Miami. Now, When I talked to you before the show, right away I said, what's the problem here with finding a cure? And you said, money. Is that the case?
Exactly. You know, technology is amazing now. We all know computers, and you know, everybody can imagine, and you know, the type of technology that's available to us as researchers. With it comes a price, though, and it's a pricey price tag. You know, no one individual group can do it alone. The Alzheimer's Association is amazing. They heavily fund our research at UM, but you know, they have to partner with NIH, Department of Defense. I mean, that's the importance of NAPA. It's bringing together all these sources so that we can have a focused attack on this crisis. You know, Alzheimer's is a crisis. You know, there are millions of people, and you know, if it wasn't at such an epidemic crisis, you realize that since it is such a big problem, that you know, we have to really attack it. We have to attack it strong and fast, and bringing people together, providing funding that takes advantage of the technology that's out there. This is what's going to bring a cure or a treatment faster to the table.
That's interesting you said treatment, because I asked Russ about a cure and he goes, no, first we need a treatment. Are we making steps there, and what do we need to make more steps there?
We are making steps. Within, you know, I'm a human geneticist, and within the past year, we have made tremendous strides in the genetics arena. We hadn't, you know, since over the past decade, this past year has been amazing. We've put together major consortia funded by the United States, has put together a large consortia funded by the National Institutes of Health, bringing together over 50 researchers across the U.S. working together to find genetic genes or genetic risk factors, because these genes are targets. The Alzheimer's Association has taken it a step further and has allowed us to join together in an international consortium and supported that, where we're getting together with all the countries in Europe that are working on Alzheimer's. And you know, this is amazing. We've identified 10 new genes within the past 2 years that will be new targets and lead us into new pathways. And this is what we need. We desperately need targets for treatments that Russ is talking about.
What about prevention? Things people can do ahead of time to try to prevent or delay this disease?
Yeah. This is now, there's been a lot in the literature, and there was a lot of discussion this summer in Paris about lifestyle changes in terms of diet and exercise, both physical and mental. And I think there's a body of literature now coming together. And again, you know, this is something that needs to be really collated and looked at in, you know, in a large group of individuals, not small studies here and there. And this is what NAPA can do. It can bring together all the resources to help us, you know, address not only treatment and hopefully eventually someday cure, but treatment and prevention. We know who's at a higher risk. We can tell somebody's at a higher susceptibility now, or at least, you know, identify with, you know, individuals at higher risk. And, you know, it'd be great if we could, you know, delay progression, or you know, prevention, or if, you know, and then follow that with some sort of treatment.
Julia Barron-Sosnick. Julia, your husband has Alzheimer's disease. You are a full-time caregiver for him. You've had to basically give up your career to do this. Is this right? Tell me your story.
I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak about a subject that I'm passionate about, and that's the care of my husband. He was diagnosed in his early 60s with frontal lobe dementia and aphasia. So he has lost his ability to speak. As you may have heard, Alzheimer is a disorder that is completely different than any other disease. It is physically, emotionally, and financially draining. I did have to leave my executive position to take care of him. Then, due to my husband's paranoia and his loss of reasoning and understanding, I got hit with a double whammy, and that is I have to have a guardianship. My husband was too far along where he would not understand how to sign the dual power of attorney. We need to put judges in the court system that have been properly trained and understand what this disease is about. Realistically, they need to know what it is to care for someone with